Hi everybody, I'm back. This is Michelle from Creative Operation, and today we're going to try and start working on the pages for my short chunky mini album. I did videos on the page configurations before, and the last video I did was on the cover for this particular album because I thought I would take us all through step by step how to put the pages together. So far we have worked on the cover, and we're going to get started on the pages. I'm using Authentique's Frontier line, and I found it at Tuesday Morning for a very good price, so I thought I would use that. It's really a really cute paper line, and I think this album is turning out really neat. Just to review a little bit, we've got the album cover already made. I have got to decorate it still, but that will be coming. The spine is a ribbon spine covering that I used, which I thought blended in with the burlap kind of theme on some of the papers that we have. But the cover is going to be this, and then I'm going to decorate it a little bit. On the inside, we made this waterfall with the seam binding closure, and then we also made this string binding closure that I gave a link in the previous video to My Creative Spirit. She has a channel on YouTube, and she taught you how to make the string closures, and it turned out really nice. So I did not show how to do that. If you want to see how that's done, I left a link in that particular video, and you can go see how she created it. But then this pocket on the back page will hold all kinds of stuff in here, and it has an expanding kind of gusseted pocket so that you could fit quite a bit in here. So let's get started with the pages. I'm going to put this to the side and get our page sets out. Now, each page configuration set is going to be a string of 3 pages. I showed this in a video before, and there. Is that right? I want to make sure I got it in the right order. Yeah, I did. Okay. And I did a video on this. So basically the pages are made out of 8.5 by 11 inch papers, and then you just have to do some scoring and some cutting. And we can create all kinds of different configurations depending on that. So let's start with the first one. And I'm going to put this off to the side. We're going to work on configuring the pages first, and then we're going to put the papers on. And then I'll show you how to put them in the book. So the first page in this is, I'm calling it page number 2. So basically 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, scored at 1/2 inch, scored at 5 3/4 of an inch, which will give you a 5 1/4 inch page. And then you're going to take this one, you're going to turn it, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch down to that 5 3/4 inch score line, and then you're going to score at 4.5 down to that 5 3/4 inch score line. And then the red here indicates where you're going to cut. And then this is going to create a pocket. So let me show you how that works. So I'm going to open this up, and here's how the page will look. Here's the 1/2 inch score, which will create the binding piece. And then you have this 1/2 inch score up here, which will create a piece. And then you have a score here. And then this is obviously cut. So how this is going to fold is that I have it folded to the back. And then this will fold under, and that creates a pocket. And then this will adhere it to the page, the next page. Okay? So there's going to be 3 pages. The middle page will be the binding piece, which is this one here, and then this one is going to, with this tab, attach to that. Okay, that'll make sense in just a second. Okay, so page 1 here is a real basic one, and let me show you on the schematic here. So it's scored at 1/2, and it's scored at 5 3/4, and that's all the scoring you do. It gives you 2 5 1/4 inch pages on each side. So this is basically gives you a 5 inch, or 4 pages of 5 1/4 inch. So when you do that, and this one's going to be folded to the front. This is going to be your binding piece with the score tape. Okay, so this is going to be our binding page to bind it to the cover. So all you're going to do is you're going to take this page right here where we made the pocket, and then you're going to adhere this to this flap here. Now when you make these books, if you go back and look at all of the different page configurations that I came up with, you could put them in any order you choose. It really doesn't matter how you do it, and there's a lot of leeway in doing it. You can do it on either side of pages, you can do it upside down, doesn't matter, okay? So that's going to be bound there. This pocket's going to go under here. So when you open your book, this is the first thing you're going to see. You can open it this way, and then you can open it this way, and then you have a tag pocket here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this pocket. Adhere that down. We're going to put a little bit of glue, which I probably could have done before I glued the pocket down, but you know, I got to do things the hard way sometimes. Put a little edge of glue down there, and that closes that pocket right there. And now you have, pardon my head again, I apologize. Now you have a nice pocket that will fold in. Now, this pocket is a little close to the edge of the fold of the page, so I thought this would be awesome, and do a little punching and make a nice little edge, and then that will also kind of keep it out of the crease of the paper. So I'm going to punch it after I make the pocket, because if you don't, then your little scallops or whatever edge punch you use aren't going to match up. Okay, so there's that. Now it's going to go in, it's going to be off the edge a little bit, and it's going to fold up a little bit nicer. Okay, so then we're going to put that away. So this is going to be the binding piece that binds it to the book. So the next page is going to have to be adhered here. And this page is going to look like this. Okay, so we're going to take the 8.5 by 11, we're going to score it at a half. I'm calling this page number 4. In the previous videos, they all had numbers. I had like 20 different configurations. So 1/2, 5 3/4, and then you turn it, and at the 4 1/4 line, you cut it all the way down to the score line. Okay, so what that does is it gives you something that looks like this. So you have this piece, which is either a binding piece or it attaches to another page. And then you have 2 flaps. Now, the cool thing about the flaps, you can leave them as flaps so you have 2 different pages to look at, or you can glue on the 2 sides and create a pocket. All right, you can even glue this one on the 2 sides and create a top pocket. It's just all how you want to put it together. I'm going to put it together so there's a pocket on the front, and then when you turn it, there will be a flap here. So that's how I'm going to do it. So this time, so I'm not making it really difficult on myself, I'm going to put my glue on my 2 sides. I'm going to glue it down. The other side's going to be left alone. We're going to leave that as a flap. And then this page is going to glue to the back of what we just made. All right. So you can use glue, you can use score tape. I really like score tape. I think we talked about that in the previous video. And then just go all the way to the edge, line it up nice, and boom, we have our page. Okay, so that's going to be that. So then all we have to do is we have to cover it with paper, and then it'll be perfect. All right, so what we're going to do now is, what am I going to do now? We can go ahead and put papers on, but I'll tell you what, let's make the base pages first, and then we'll come back when the papers are on. I think that's going to be awesome. Okay, set number 2. I'm going to get set number 1 out of the way. Alright, set number 2. The first one we're going to do is a trifold page. Score it a half, score it 4, score it 7.5. So when you do that, you end up with a piece that folds like that. A couple different things you can do. You can leave it open so that you can use, if you have some sort of a page that has a really pretty pattern that goes all the way across, like a scene of some sort that you don't really want to split up, that looks better if it's all in one piece. You can leave it all in one piece. You just divide it into 3 sections, and then when you open it up, you kind of get the 3 panels of that page. You can do that on both sides. Or another thing you can do is you could adhere either one of the pieces, but maybe just this piece on the top and the bottom, which would give you a side pocket here. You could put glue here and here, and it'll give you a side pocket here. I think on this one, what I'm going to do is just leave it open, which would be kind of nice because then you could fit lots of 3x4 pictures on here, which is good for those little pictures that you can take with those sprockets and everything now that are really popular. So. Or you can just print your paper, or print your pictures the old-fashioned way, and print them in 3x4 size, or print 4x6s and cut off, you know, what you want. Yeah, cropping like we used to do. Okay, so anyways, that's that page. Excuse me. So this is going to be on top. The binding piece to this page is going to be this one. This one's number 10 in my series. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your 8.5 by 11 at 5 3/4, and then you're going to score each piece at 1/2 inch. Okay? And so what that gives you is 2 pieces. And those 2 pieces are kind of cool because then you can take, this is the binding piece, so this is going to go in the spine. You can take this piece and you could adhere it so it goes like this. You could turn it upside down. You could adhere it so it goes like that. You could put it on the other side if you wanted to. What I think I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to layer this guy on top of it so that we kind of have a tri-page looking deal. So that's what I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to take these off, and not getting into the score, I'm going to adhere that piece down. So that's page 10. That's this whole page 10 right here. And then I'm going to take that first page I showed you, page 11, and I'm going to layer it right on top of there. And then we are going to have part of that page done. So line it up, and there it goes. Okay, so now we have this piece bind to the spine. This piece will open up like that, and then it'll go like that. And then you'll also have this page that flaps. Okay, so we're going to turn it over because page 7 is going to go on the back. Now page 7, we're going to cut it again at 5 3/4, but instead of doing the 1/2 inch on this side, we're going to do the 1/2 inch on top for the scoring. Okay, and then what that gives you is a flap that goes up. So you end up with a piece like that, and you end up with a piece like that. Okay, so that's what you end up with after you cut your paper. And then you're going to take this page right here, and I trimmed a little bit off the sides so that there's about 1/4 inch all the way around. And I'm just going to center it. I'm going to eyeball it a little bit right at the top. And that will give you a page that does that. Then you're going to take this and we're going to put this onto the back of that page assembly. Okay? And then there you have it. So now we have our page assembly. This is the binding piece. So you're going to have this page that goes out like that. Then you're going to have that. Then you can turn this page. Then you have a flap that goes like that. Okay? And then one that goes like that. So it gives you a lot of real estate once you put it all together. So that's going to be page assembly number 2. And I know I'm going pretty quickly. Sorry about that, but that's the beauty of YouTube, because now you can go back and pause, which I do that all the time when I'm watching YouTube videos. So I'm sorry, I'm hoping I'm not going too fast, but I didn't want the videos to drag out too long. So then the last set of pages that we're going to do is going to start with a sandwich here of page number 15 is first. So the first thing, we're not going to do the side deal this time. We're going to start at 4 3/4 and make a score, and then at 5 1/4, and then at 5 3/4. So 4 3/4, 5 1/4, 5 3/4. Then we're going to turn, and we're going to score at 2 1/4 down to the very first score line, and we're going to score at 6 1/4 down to the very first score line. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make a cut here and a cut here. All right, and when we get done with that, what we're going to end up with is a really cool little pocket. So this, let me unfold it so you can see how it looks. Okay, so here's your page. Oops, probably should turn it this way. And you're going to have a flap here, and you're going to have a flap here, and then you're going to have your 2 middle pieces. Okay, these 2 1/2-inch scores that we created. So the first thing you're going to want to do is that these will adhere into each other. And what that does is that gives you the binding piece. Okay, so now you've folded it essentially kind of in the middle. And now you have this flap that has the flaps, and you have the big flap here. All right, so then what these are going to do is these are going to fold up and down. You can do a couple things. You could glue here, adhere this down, and create a side pocket. Or what I'm going to do with this is I am going to put a little glue here and a little glue here, and then I'm going to fold it up to make a pocket. I'm going to paper this part, and then you're going to have a pocket here to slip a little goodie in, and then what we're going to do is another string closure right here. Okay, so that's going to create a cute little pocket, and then when you flip it over, you'll have a little page, and you'll have this. Okay, so that's going to be on the top. Then, I'm just going to put that note there. Then we're going to make a page 16, which this page can be done in a couple of different ways. Let me get this out of the way. So page 16, you're going to turn your paper the other direction this time, so you're going to have it portrait instead of landscape. You're going to start with a score at a 1/2 inch. You're going to do a score at 5 3/4 inch. Then you're going to turn. You're going to score at a 1/2 and at 9. And then we're going to make tabs so that we can create pockets. Okay, so we're going to cut this little corner off. We're going to miter that, cut that whole top to the score line out. We're going to make a little tab here, and a tab here. Okay? When we get done with that, we are going to end up with a piece that will look like this. Get this out of the way. Okay, so when you get all the scores done and you get all the cutting done, this is what you're going to end up with. So this guy is the binding piece, and it's also going to form a pocket. So these little tabs, get your glue or your score tape, and before I adhere this down, this is going to go on the top and it's going to go over the pocket. So I need to put this down before I do the pocket. So this is the page we just made, and I'm going to put that down. Right like that. And then open it up. And then this guy is going to go down just like that, and then that page will go right over it. Okay? Alright, so then we're going to flip this whole bad boy over, and then we're going to take the tabs, and we're going to create a long pocket on the back side of this whole assembly. Okay, so now we have that first pocket page, we have this flip, we have this pocket, and we turn it over and we have this pocket. Now the rest of this page is going to be another pocket style page, and it's going to be cut just like, or not cut, but scored just like one of our other pages. So we're going to take and do a 4 3/4 inch score, 5 1/4, 5 3/4, okay? And then those fold together, which creates your 1/2 inch binding piece. And then this is going to create a pocket. So I'm going to add glue to these red wavy lines. I used my envelope punch to create the little tabs. All right, and so when we get done with that, we are going to end up with a piece that looks like this. We're going to take these off. I'm going to adhere the middle part together. And that gives us our binding tab, okay? And then we're going to add glue under here, and we're going to glue it down, and then that's going to give us a pocket. Okay? So, I'm going to get my glue. I'm going to do this, this, and that. Put my pocket down. Okay, and there we go. So then this guy is going to adhere down right over this pocket. I'm gonna all right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay, so that kind of concludes how to make the 3 base pages. So what I'm going to do now is just really quickly show you how to put them in the book, and then I'll come back when everything is all papered and decorated, and we'll take a final walkthrough. Okay, so this is page assembly number 3. I need my page assembly number 2, which is right here, and number 1, which is right here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So the easiest thing to do is start with the back, because we're going to have a 1/2 inch gusset. We're gonna adhere this tab right to the edge of the spine, and then when that flips over, then we'll butt it up with the second page and then the third page, and that should give us 1/2 inch all the way across. So that's what we're going to do. I like 1/2 inch gussets completely on either side of the page. And you just want to make sure you don't go into crease. Okay, so there's one. Or actually that's page assembly number 3 that we just made. We're going to take number 2. And we're going to butt that up. Gotta be quiet and concentrate. Can't talk and concentrate at the same time. There we go. Okay. Alright. Do that. And then page assembly number 1. Make sure I got it in the right order. And then one more time. There we go. And voila. Okay. So there we go. We have our pages assembled, and you can see, hopefully you can see how those look. And you got a lot of real estate in here. You could do each page by itself as its own page, but if you combine them, you get lots more real estate. All right, so that is that, and I'm going to decorate, and I will come back and I will show you the rest of this book, and we'll talk about all the little things as we go through. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Have a good day.